In this video, we're going to look at pain that you feel in the middle of your back when you're sitting. We're going to look at what are the causes of this type of pain. And then when you understand the cause, it's so much easier to understand the treatment. And we'll look at the two most important things you can do to help rectify that pain and get rid of it finally. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maryke. I'm one of the physiotherapists from sportsinjuryphysio.com, where you can get online physiotherapy assessment as well as treatment of your injuries. Have a look at the description of this video if you want a link to our website. The two main reasons why you can get pain in this part of your back when you're sitting is either one, that you are bending over too much, because this is the area where we flex most in our spine when we're working in front of us. And if you stay in that position for very, very long periods of time, it actually causes a stretch injury to the structures in your back. So your muscles, your ligaments, even your discs can become really painful and irritated and sore. Now, the second is also the opposite is true. If you're trying to keep really good posture and keeping yourself upright, but without back support, actually your muscles can get tired after a while, and then they go into spasm because they're just tired and they can't work any longer. And that then can cause pain. So how do you fix it? Well, there are two parts to this. The first is you have to remove the aggravating factor. So identify for yourself what is causing your pain when you're sitting. So is it that your setup at your desk isn't ideal? So for instance, things that can cause it is you're going to lean forwards if your chair is not underneath your desk, so that your laptop or your computer is nice and close to you and you don't have to lean forwards while you're working. Also, if the computer is too low, again, you're going to be bending down and forwards to do that. But this may be even if you're not sitting, if you're standing and doing stuff, if the surface is too low, you're going to have to bend forwards to do it. So get things up higher, get them close to you, make sure your chair can go underneath, and that will help. But can you see that this chair is actually not great for working at a desk? Because for me to sit upright, I can't sit back in it because it's going to naturally take me there, and I'm going to have to really be in a leaning back position to work. Now, if my chair can go underneath the desk and the desk is the right height, this could be a very relaxed position to work in. But if I want to be sitting upright, I'm going to have to use a back support. You don't need anything fancy. You can just use a cushion even, and really get it into the lower part of the back. And immediately when I sit back against that, look at my good posture. I'm totally relaxed. I'm not using my muscles to stay up there. So they can relax and I can work. Now, if in this position I'm still too far away from my laptop, I'm still going to have to go there. So make sure your chair goes close enough then. Where it becomes tricky is if part of the problem with the sitting is that you're having to sit on the floor and work with kids. I often get it that teachers ask me, my back really hurts when I sit on the floor, what can I do about it? Well, for those positions, it can be tricky. So what you can do is see if there's any type of chair you can actually sit on that you don't have to be flat on the floor. Also, if it is that you've got to sit with a child on your lap and read to them, because sometimes in some situations that is the case, even it may be your own child that's hurting your back. Find a chair that you can actually relax into and just sit back a bit and get them on your lap in that position, that you're really comfortable and you don't have to be over them like that. So there's always a way to adapt things. It's just that we're sometimes stuck in the traditional way of thinking about it. So try to think outside of the box and really adapt your position. So you've adapted your position so that you're starting to get those structures to relax and you're not irritating it any further. What exercises can you do? Now, people often jump in and want to stretch things because it feels so uncomfortable. But if you're too aggressive with your stretches, and actually in your case, it's not muscle spasm causing your pain, but an irritated disc or your ligaments that's really sore, can you see that if you're going to do strong stretches for that area, it's actually going to irritate it more? So I want you to be gentle and careful with it and politely ask it to move at the start, and then as you test it, you'll find what your back likes. So I am going to show you some stretches to do, and I am going to show you some strengthening exercises to do, because often when you do strengthening exercises that actually work the muscles in the back, it gets better circulation through the area, and that can really help to reduce your pain. So let's think of some simple things. If we think of the area we want to move, you're sitting for long periods of time, you can't really not sit for that long, so you've got to start moving. So easy things to do in your chair is just starting by extending your back. So I like to place my hands behind my back and just slowly ease into it and come back out of it. Now, I'm not throwing my head back there. I'm keeping my head in a comfortable position, and I'm just pushing my chest bone out to the front there and just saying, oh, come on, let's just move you a bit. And again, I'm not holding it there for very long, because then you may end up going to a spasm in there if it's really irritated. So just going to where you want to go. Okay. And it's often better to do like active stretching where you move in and out of the position so you get circulation going rather than too passive stretching. So that's the first thing I would do, is just, and you can do it over the side of the chair even if you want to. Then also, I would do rotations, but again, you could do it with your arms there, but I like doing it with my arms there because it places my spine in this little bit of extension, and then I can feel a bit more of the movement there. And you'll see that all I'm doing is I'm bouncing gently. I'm not using momentum to throw me into the positions. I'm just gently moving there. Okay. If your back's really sore, that may be too uncomfortable to do. So just gently move yourself around and around. And if it's very painful, you just don't push into that pain much. Okay. Then the other two I would want to do is side flexion as well as forward flexion, because that can be quite comfortable sometimes. So for side flexion, you can do it in standing, you can do it in sitting. You just reach with your hand up, you throw this hand straight down, and you come over to the side. So it's not there necessarily. You try to kind of take this side down, that side up, and you come back. And again. There we go. And you want to hold it for anything up to 10 seconds. You could do longer, but it becomes a bit uncomfortable longer. I tend to go for about 10 seconds, sometimes just 5, and do several repetitions. So between 5 and 10 on each side. One of my favorite ones for forward flexion is actually doing the standing curl down, because you'll see when you're at the bottom of the curl and you're just hanging from your hips, it feels as if you're getting lovely traction in your spine. But if it hurts to go all the way down, you just go to where you can. So you start with your feet hip distance apart, so about that, not too wide, just what's comfortable. You bend your knees ever so slightly, and then you just start by putting your chin on your chest. And then you curl down, bring your upper back down first, then your middle of your back, relaxing your arms there until you're just hanging from your hips. And take a deep breath in and breathe out. And you'll feel when you do that, it relaxes even more. And you can also just fold your arms for a little bit of extra traction. And then you come back up. I'm going to show you the arm opener stretch as well. This is a really nice one that helps my back whenever that area gets sore, because it gives us rotation of the spine, but it also extends it as it goes, and it can be really comfortable. If you have a super sensitive and really painful upper back, this is not an exercise to do. Start with the other ones, because this one is a stronger stretch, but it can be really, really comfortable or really, really nice. So you start on your side. I'm actually going to show you how I'm lying this way around, and then I'll do the movement to the other side so I've got space. You're starting, if you need a cushion under your head, put a cushion under your head so that it stays in a neutral position. There we go. Okay. So you're starting in this position, your arms out in front of you. Your hips are just bent up comfortably. I like to have mine 90 degrees. And you try not to allow your hip to pull back as you do it, okay? So you're going to lift your top arm up, follow it with your head. So you're looking at it as you move, and then you're going to drop it behind you. So let me switch sides so you can see what happens when I drop it behind me. Up. So we're arms out in front. I'm lifting that arm up. I'm looking at it as it goes, and I just keep on following it with my head and dropping it behind me. And then when I'm in that position, I take a nice deep breath in, because that moves the ribs and moves the spine in as well, and breathe out. Relax into the position. Now, try not to let your arm drop down there, because then you'll lose the stretch at the front of the chest. Try to keep it up there. If you're really tight, your arm may just stick up there. It can't go down all the way. That's fine. You can even place a cushion there to just be able to relax it in that position then. And as you get more flexible, you'll be able to eventually go down there. And then you come back. And I tend to repeat it also a few times. So I'll go up, go back, relax where I can, and take a deep breath in. Breathe it out. And then I come back. One of the most useful strength exercises I find for this type of thing is the seated row, because what it does is, if you're keeping a good posture, you're tightening up your core muscles while you're doing the row action. So you're doing that row action. As long as you make sure that you're not going into bad positions or moving your back as you're doing it, you're actually stabilizing all or strengthening all your core muscles, but also the muscles in this area that needs to keep you upright. So it's very easy. You can either do it in sitting or standing. I'm doing it in sitting because I'm better set up for that. And you want to start with the band in front of you. I've just got it tied to my door. And you pull your elbows in to the back and slowly release. And you can notice that I'm sitting nice and upright. So the first step is actually, if you're sitting there, you just grow tall. And by tall, I don't mean like that. You're just pushing this part of your head up to the ceiling. And then that's the action. And of course, as you get stronger and it tolerates it better, you just use stronger bands for it. So this is a nice one that you can do anywhere really. And you can even do it during the day if you feel, oh, I need a bit of movement somewhere. But to be honest, any type of arm exercise will work, because whenever you load your arms and you keep this still, the whole back and spine and all the muscles that stabilizes the spine has to work. So you can choose any type of exercise, but this one is a really nice one to get the shoulder blades and everything between that working as well. Then let me show you one if you don't have an exercise band that you can do on the floor, and how to progress that. Okay, then a good one to strengthen the back extensors, if you don't have an exercise band, is to actually do back extensions on your stomach. If your lower back can be a little bit sensitive to extension, then putting a cushion under your stomach may be useful. So I'll demonstrate it like that. Okay, so what you do is you're lying on your stomach with your cushion under your stomach. You have your hands, the first version or the easy version is just with your hands by your sides there. And you're going to rest your forehead on the mat. Now, you're pulling your shoulders down away from your ears, and you're squeezing your bum, squeezing your tummy, and you're just lifting your head up in this position and there. And you don't try and lift as high as you can. You're literally just lifting it up so you can feel your back muscles are tensing and working. And I'm not pushing through my arms. I'm lifting with my back. Now, if you find this is really, really easy, then the next progression is having your hands there, so under your forehead, and you're going to come up and you're just going to lift one hand up to join, and then put it down and the other one to join. But again, if that's too easy, you could lift both of them up there and hold it. And you want to hold for about 10 seconds, rest for 10 seconds, and do about 10 repetitions. It's important to rest for the same amount of time that you keep it, because otherwise it will just get tired and you'll really struggle with the exercise. So give it enough rest when you do it as well. Brilliant. Hope you found that useful. Now remember, if you need more help with an injury, you're welcome to consult one of the team via video call. The link to the website is in the description of this video. Take care.